Hi, everyone. So here we are, another Sunday. Messages, teachings, insights that Spirit wants to give to you as I bring it forward. And I'm just kind of tuning in because, I just got chills. I'm just kind of, when I said that, then they gave me more, which I love. It's always validation that Spirit is really here for me. And when I'm actually speaking and talking about something, it's always a validation that this is something that's a really deep truth and really important for people to hear. So what I will say is that typically, since I've started doing these, Spirit has actually brought something through to me ahead of time so that I had some level of kind of understanding and knowing. Sorry, I'm like adjusting everything. I try not to do too much prep to go into these so that I can just channel it live and it comes through just the way that I get it. So some people may be like, oh, it's not very professional. Well, fuck that. This is the way that I'm doing it. And what I was saying was, sorry, I got myself off on a tangent. Now they are starting to talk to me. But they're just talking to me and telling me about my own perfectionism and how actually that they're really proud of me that I have stopped worrying about things being like all perfect and making sure it's like seamless, and that I kind of have a message sort of at least started before I jump on here. And so that's what I was going to say, is that typically they have brought me a little something so that I kind of know where we're going and what the touch points are going to be around the conversation that they want me to share. And they did not do that this morning. So this is real, raw, live. And also, so they're talking to me again, and they're just saying to me that, that they're proud of me, and that the reason why they didn't like pre-plan anything is because they want me to know and to trust that what is coming through is really meant for whoever sees this, whoever finds this, that also it's about deepening my trust in the work that I'm doing. They're saying by not bringing me something ahead of time, it's to show that they don't need to, basically, that I have risen above that I have that there's no reason for me to be in fear or insecure or not confident about my abilities to deliver messages. And so I'm like, well, why are you having me talk about all of this on camera this morning? This doesn't, this is for me. It doesn't seem particularly personal or relevant to anybody else is watching. You probably don't really care. But maybe you do. And so actually what they were saying is know that it's important that whoever tunes into this does understand and see that this is, this is also the way that I do experience things, that even after, a lifetime of being able to just naturally and inherently get messages from Spirit, that there's still times and places where I want validations, or that there's still times and places where I have my own insecurities around my gifts and my ability to be able to use them and really be an extension of the divine in a way that helps to serve the world. And they say that this is important and valuable for those that are watching and tuning in and basically listening to what it sounds like me babbling in my own human mind. They're saying it's because so many people that are going to find this are also in a space where they may be perceived by others as kind of really being together, as being sort of the responsible one, being the authority, being the one that has things figured out, whether that's in life or business or with money or relationships or parenting or whatever that looks like for you. If you're catching this, you may be feeling today weighted down under the pressure, weighted down really under responsibility that you are taking on for being kind of held up as a authority or a role model or an example for other people, and not allowing yourself to have the space and the time and the emotions that go along with being able to feel insecure sometime or wanting validation sometime. Like when it comes to spirituality, they're saying like a lot of people want signs, right? Not just manifest things, but in the way that they want signs for maybe signs from a loved one that they're around you, or maybe a sign that's, just please let me get some kind of sign that I'm on the right path or which decision I should make. And again, they're saying to me and just reinforcing like, and you are the one that most people think has it all together and feels like you're not somebody that ever has these insecure moments or needs this kind of reassurance from spirit or anyone else. So they want to bring through, like I said, this whole validation, a message of validation and assurance to you as you are maybe in this space where you're feeling softer and vulnerable. And it's interesting because I wanted to use insecure, and they're saying, no, don't think of it as insecure in a way that we often call that to be value. Sorry. Sometimes they come through with so much so fast that it's hard for me to keep up and put words to it. What we often call insecure is a way that is often used as in judgment or criticism of ourselves and others. And so they want to just establish that when you are having these moments that we may have deemed or you have maybe been programmed to believe are weak, they want you to know that it's actually a space and an opportunity for you to be in surrender and to be in trust. Because when we are kind of feeling weak, and they're saying this is often the references to this kind of idea in the Bible. Forgive me, I know bits and pieces by heart. Sort of memorize certain things. Regardless, this is not the way it actually goes. But there's multiple verses around, like that the weak are, or the meek are the sort of the chosen ones. They are the most precious ones of Jesus, of God, what have you. The meek will inherit the earth, they're saying. What they really mean and what that phrase meant was that when you are in a space of understanding, and they're saying, don't confuse the fact that you are a divine being. You are divine essence experiencing a human existence, okay? A very temporary human existence, but you are a forever divine essence. Our humanness can override, and that's why our minds are not really to be trusted. That is not where your connection to your higher self, your best self, your divine, your spirituality, universe, God, Jesus, all the ascended masters, whoever you want to connect to, it's never in your thinking mind. It's never in your rational, logical mind. That is our human self. And so we are programmed and conditioned and carried forward from generations this programming and conditioning that says we must trust the human mind, the rational, logical, and the teachings and the outward experiences that we witness from other people in culture, in society, in our families, over being able to deeply connect to our inner self, which is the divine self, which is God, universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it. We allow that mind to override. And so when you are in a weak or insecure, vulnerable, meek place in life, it is often associated and related to a disconnect of allowing your mind to override. I'm like, y'all, that doesn't make sense. Well, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you listening. It didn't make sense to me as I was just translating that. So let me see if I can. When we are often feeling insecure or vulnerable, when we are feeling confused, any of these things that we have kind of deemed as being weak, less than, or not ideal, not strong, not competent, not responsible. Whenever we find ourselves in that space, they're saying that it's actually the exact moments that you are stepping away from your logical, rational mind. It's actually the allowing, and there's an opening there of they're showing me like a levee on a dam. So know that it's like a gate, and there's this temporary opening that's kind of relieving the pressure of our critical thinking mind, of our human self and our human personality. And so when you're having these kind of weaker or down moments, it's actually this opening on this level of this levee. It's like this gap that's created where you now have the ability to let in the light, let in the divine solution, support, evidence, ideas, thoughts come through, love, come through to you in that moment to help you kind of solve this problem or move you through. It's trying to bring you a solution. It's when we put the mind to rest, is ironically when we are feeling the most vulnerable. And so that is when you actually, many of you, not always, but a lot of times, particularly when you're kind of in chaos or crisis or confusion, it is when you are allowing yourself to be the most receptive to divine guidance and accept their help and their understanding into yourself. And so they're saying it goes against everything that we've been taught for the better part, in saying that we need to solve our own problems and come up with our own solutions. They're saying this is where this whole mentality around like doing and working and achieving is equated to a higher self, a higher sense of worth, a higher sense of enoughness. And yet it's completely the opposite of the way that they want you to experience your worth, your value, your worthiness, they're saying your safety and stability, and to deepen that trust, because it's in those weaker moments, it's in those vulnerable and insecure moments that you actually are allowing yourself to be the closest and the most integrated with divine essence, with spirit at that time. And so if we would start to reframe that, if we would start to allow ourselves the idea and practice programming and telling ourselves every time you have those feelings that come up, um, that's for somebody in particular that I know is going to watch this. Every time you are allowing yourself to just fully see and embody that space, that feeling of, it's so ironic because they're saying it often makes us feel like it's a feeling of us not being enough. And yet it's actually when you've risen the highest into your divine integration. It's actually when you take away the separation and become more divine, because we're never meant to rely on our human mind and our human self. So when you stop doing that, and when you allow yourself moments to not do that, then that's where they can come in and you can be one. That's where it can shift and it can be easier for you. I hope this makes sense. You are never meant to do things on your own. You never really are. But they will stay at arm's length. They will stay at bay. And when I say they, I mean, again, it's really up to your belief system and what you want to call it. It's spirit, it's ascended masters, it's angels, it's your spirit guides, your spirit team, whoever it is that you believe in and are calling in to help you and assist you in a daily way. It's not a bad practice, they're saying, to invite us to be integrated with you and to be involved with you all the time. They're saying we will never take over, we will never step in. It's part of that promise of free will, and it's part of the experience that we specifically chose to be able to come in and deal with. And yet we make things so much harder for ourselves by not inviting them in. And then instead of practicing, like truly practicing, like when you are in that kind of weaker, insecure, vulnerable moment and you're feeling maybe some self-judgment or self-criticism around it, or maybe you're feeling a little bit of victim mentality around it, whatever. When you're kind of beating yourself up, when you're judging yourself about it, interrupt that and say, actually, I'm in a more divine space right now. Actually, this is what surrender can look like and feel like. And we don't have to attach the negative connotation to these moments of not knowing or not being able to figure something out or undo something. Instead, if we looked at that as, oh, this is actually me releasing my human condition temporarily and allowing myself to be one with spirit rather than keep myself separated by trying to figure it out, you will find that things get easier. But we have attached such a negative understanding to being weak or vulnerable or not having our own solutions or answers or plan or way forward that we have completely misconstrued exactly what those moments are, which are actually invitations, openings for us to be one with spirit and have spirit take over. They're saying, know that you are loved, know that you are blessed. None of these things are new. For whatever reason, they're feeling like that's how they want to kind of wrap up this little session. They are saying, you are loved, you are blessed, you are never alone. Invite us into your day. Stop judging yourself. Stop holding yourself separate. All things can be yours. All things are possible. Anything is possible. Instantly, they're saying. So open up yourself in these ways. You know, hell, the reality of the situation is that if you could figure out how to be in that sort of weak or vulnerable space without judging yourself and making it feel negative or bad in some kind of way, then you will have ascended to a space where you are more fully, more of the time, integrated as one with your divine self and as a divine extension and expression. God knows that's what I'm trying to do right now. Not trying. They're like, don't try. You are doing it. Okay, I am doing it. Being in surrender is sometimes hard to explain, and also I think sometimes it's been not defined clearly or not explained clearly. It's not saying fuck it, and that, I mean, it is to a certain degree, but it's not saying, oh, I'm just going to float along and, let the dumpster fires happen all around me in my life all the time. It can look like that, but primarily it only looks like that because it's the burning down of beliefs, because we're still holding some kind of belief that we need to be doing things and in control of things and leading the action. If anybody has seen my content or knows anything about human design, then you know that the majority of us are generators, are manifesting generators, and so we're actually meant to be in response. So we should never be the ones that are initiating, so to speak. Anyway, that's a different conversation, but it does come in to give you context and to help you understand that surrender is maybe less significant. Doesn't have to be this big act. It doesn't have to be this laying down. And it doesn't mean that we are not doing anything. So I hope that lands with whoever needs to hear this today. I hope you can take that. I would love to hear your comments about this, about maybe what you would like me to expand on. I'm happy to do like mini follow-up videos throughout the weeks or whatever that I can post and share here. Please share this with anyone that you feel like really needs to hear this message today. And again, just know that spirit really is always with you. Like I say, whether that's your spirit guide, your angels, your spirit team, your ascended masters, whoever it is that you want to be around you, crossed over loved ones, whoever you want to be around you is around you, and actually so much more. They're saying and all the ones that you don't recognize or understand or even think to ask in, they're all around you all the time. They are here. Invite them in and know that you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all figured out. In fact, you don't have to figure out too much of anything in a bigger way. I mean, you might need to figure out what to make for dinner or whatever. But I'm talking about like in a bigger sense of your life or your business or your relationships, or they're saying parenting. So, and that's just a couple times they brought up about parenting. So, which is not really my forte. It's not really an area that I focus on. Not that all of these principles don't relate to every single area of your life. That's the reason why I say that I'm an intuitive holistic strategist, because all of things in your life, every area, piece of the pie is interconnected. And when one's carrying too much weight, then the others suffer. When one's suffering, it affects the others. We're holistic beings. But back to the parenting thing. So they are throwing the idea of parenting in there because there's apparently people that are going to be watching this where parenting is kind of a struggle for them right now, or maybe this is the area that they are feeling the most confusion or the weakest or most insecure about. And so they want you to know that it applies to that. You can turn to them and allow yourself to be vulnerable in the moments and say, I don't have this figured out. What do I do? And not beat yourself up for not knowing because you're the parent. Okay? So I hope that makes sense to you. I hope this finds you in love. I hope this gives you peace and some empowerment today. Please, like I said, share this, like, comment the video, subscribe if you want to make sure you always know what's coming out every Sunday or any of the other stuff that I come out with. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching me. And I look forward to the next one.